The next big release in the Star Wars video game lineup is none other than Star Wars Outlaws. Obviously, there's a whole lot of hype surrounding this upcoming release, but the real question is, what's it all about? And for that matter, will it be any good? To get you orientated and prepared for what's on the horizon, here's 7 things you need to know about Star Wars Outlaws. Let's begin. Number 1. The Lowdown. Star Wars Outlaws is set between Episode 5 and Episode 6, more commonly referred to as The Empire Strikes Back and The Return of the Jedi. This means that the game is set somewhere between 3 ABY, that's after the Battle of Yavin for those of you who don't know, and 4 ABY. Yes, believe it or not, the original Star Wars trilogy takes place over the course of just 4 years. In other words, Star Wars Outlaws happens almost in parallel with the 2 movies, both of which are my personal favorite Star Wars movies, so I'm not complaining at all. The game stars Kay Vess, a young human female thief who kinda looks like if Ellen Ripley from Aliens and Han Solo had a baby, or maybe just a young Sigourney Weaver. Anyway, Kay is intent on forging her own path and building a life for herself, but in a galaxy teeming with all kinds of threats, this is obviously easier said than done, and it really doesn't help that this is pretty much the period in which the Empire was at the height of its power. Thankfully, she has her wits and cunning to help her through, and if that doesn't work, well, a little blast of fire might just do the trick. I definitely think Kay is a great protagonist just because she already reminds me of 2 of my favorites from the world of science fiction, so her character design is very much on point for the Star Wars universe. Look, I know there's Rey, and while I'm sure she has many fans, I never really felt like I got her whole vibe, but maybe that's because I just don't like episodes 7, 8, and 9. For this reason, I feel like Kay is the strong female protagonist the Star Wars universe so desperately needs. Number 2. Partners in Crime. Kay's obviously great and all, but even she knows she needs a crack team to help her pull off the greatest heists in the galaxy. Her closest companion and, assistant is Nix, a merquel that fans initially thought was just a cute creature that would follow Kay around and act as the game's mascot. But no, Nix is a very useful companion indeed and will help Kay to grab valuable loot and cargo, distract guards, attack enemies, and even operate switches and machinery in the field. I guess you can kinda think of Nix as a very small and axolotl-like version of Han Solo's Wookiee partner Chewbacca. The gameplay in Star Wars Outlaws reveals just how strong the bond between Kay and Nix is, and in this regard, your little merquel friend will act as an extension of yourself when out in the field. And then there's the formidable droid commando known as ND5 that seems to have set hearts aflutter across the length and breadth of the internet. I'm not going to go into why many fans feel that ND5 is hot, but I will tell you that he's a character you meet down the line who will join Kay as a minder, bodyguard, and observer, or so official sources say. Personally, I'd really like it if you could play as ND5 in some spots or missions, or simply just be able to issue commands to him, but I'm not sure if that's on the cards. At any rate, his design is really something that has Star Wars fans, as well as robot lovers in general, very much intrigued. I have a strong feeling that this trio of scoundrels will win the hearts and minds of gamers across the board, and if I'm wrong about that, you can freeze me in carbonite. Number 3. Galactic Syndicates. A good thief and scoundrel needs to know how to do business and who to do said business with. The Star Wars universe is brimming with different species and factions, and the same goes for the criminal organizations that comprise the galaxy's slimy underbelly. And yes, it's these syndicates that Kay will be working for. Now, as soon as I heard this, I immediately thought of the most notorious crime family, or species, in the galaxy. Yep, I'm talking about the slug-like and mafia boss-looking Hutts. And seeing that Star Wars Outlaws takes place between episode 5 and 6, you can bet that you're going to get to meet, or at least get some work from none other than Jabba the Hutt, arguably the biggest gangster in the galaxy. And as it just so happens, this was recently confirmed and has appeared on several gaming news sites. Moreover, not only will you be able to work for Jabba, but you can even betray him if you like. And seeing that this is the criminal underworld, this kind of stuff is pretty much standard practice. Other criminal organizations that will or should appear in Star Wars Outlaws include the Black Sun, Pike Syndicate, Crimson Dawn, and the Crymora Syndicate. Along with the Hutt clan, these are the 5 crime syndicates that feature prominently in the Star Wars universe. It was also recently confirmed that there will be an all-new crime family in Star Wars Outlaws in the form of the Ashiga clan, who are based on the planet Kijimi, the same snowy world that was seen in The Rise of Skywalker. Exciting stuff. There's a possibility that other smaller organizations may feature, but if most or all of the major syndicates don't make it into the game, that'll just be a major missed opportunity on the part of the game's developers, Massive Entertainment and Lucasfilm Games. At any rate, get ready to work with and take on some of the most dangerous gangsters in the galaxy. Number 4. Worlds at your feet. Star Wars Outlaws is said to be the first fully open-world Star Wars game, but other games in the franchise have used that label to describe themselves as well, so I'm not too sure how accurate this is. That said, it is supposed to be the first open-world Star Wars game that goes into this much depth with regards to planets and exploration, so make of that what you will. Star Wars Outlaws features several different worlds that you'll be able to traverse and explore, including series stalwart Tatooine and, based on the info about the Ashiga clan, Kijimi. One new planet, or more accurately moon, is Toshara. It's a world that's been heavily inspired by the savanna of East Africa, so there'll be plenty of wide open grasslands and plains for you to check out, as well as a seedy and winding capital city. Akiva is also pretty much confirmed for Star Wars Outlaws, and while it's only seen from orbit in the gameplay trailer, fans are already quite familiar with its stormy climate and the fact that it's somewhere that droids are manufactured and assembled. Now I don't know for sure, but I'm really hoping that Coruscant will be an explorable location in Star Wars Outlaws. I would think that it's part of the game, but this is yet to be confirmed, so don't take my word for it. In terms of scale, Star Wars Outlaws is supposed to be huge, allegedly as big as all current Assassin's Creed games combined. That's absolutely insane if true, but maybe just hold your breath on that one for now until more info becomes available, or, better yet, the game actually comes out. Number 5. Getting around. So you may be wondering what traversal options there are in Star Wars Outlaws. As you can well imagine, there are several. The first and most obvious of these is Kay's ship, the Trailblazer, which is actually an EML 850 light freighter that was built during the era of the Galactic Republic. While it may not be the Millennium Falcon, it's still a pretty awesome ship with a cool old school design. According to Loic van der Wiel on Reddit, Kay's ship is about 66 feet long and 39 feet wide and comes with 2 front laser cannons as well as a double laser turret on the back. And as gameplay reveals, yes, you will indeed be able to pilot the Trailblazer and use its weapons in combat sequences that take place in space. Now that's what I'm talking about. And that ain't where it ends, of course. If you need to get around a little faster when planetside, you can use your speeder bike, the same type first seen in Return of the Jedi. And much like the combat in space, you'll also be able to take down enemies while riding around. So it looks like the devs have thought of just about everything with this release. When not in her ship or riding a speeder, Kay is also able to engage in some light forms of parkour, scaling walls and holding onto objects in order to stay hidden or allow Nix to handle some tasks. It also looks like travel between different planets in space, and vice versa, will be completely seamless with no loading times, which is pretty insane if true. I don't know if there are any other vehicles that you'll be able to appropriate, but I wouldn't put that out of the realm of possibility just yet. Number 6. Skills and abilities. Kay may not be a Jedi or Sith, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have a lot of skills and options at her disposal. Other than her relationship with Nix and the ability to work with her cute little companion, Kay has her trusty blaster which players should be able to upgrade using different modules, which I imagine kinda works like the bench in Dead Space, but whether it's more like the first Dead Space or Dead Space 3 isn't known just yet. On this basis, it would appear that Star Wars Outlaws will have crafting, even if it's only fairly rudimentary, but it may well be a little more intricate than that. Given that Kay does have her own skills and abilities such as stealth and climbing, I would imagine that there's some kind of leveling system in Star Wars Outlaws. I mean, you have to earn credits during missions and make that galactic moolah, so surely there will be various ways to spend that hard-earned or ill-gotten cash. I unfortunately can't confirm this right now, but even if there isn't a full-blown skills tree, there's got to be the opportunity to buy better gear and tackle more challenging heists, right? This kind of stuff is standard fare in most games, so I'm sure its absence would be ruefully mourned if nothing else. While I would say this is likely, there's no confirmation just yet, so my advice is to sit tight for now. And lastly, number 7, Most Wanted. I guess Star Wars Outlaws is kinda like GTA or Red Dead Redemption in space, and on this basis, this upcoming title will also feature its own wanted system that shows just how notorious Kay's reputation is and how aggressive the Empire, and I guess other factions, will be towards her. I'm not sure exactly how the system will work or if it's the same as the one seen in GTA, but I somehow think it'll function a little differently. In other words, the more you progress in the game and the more you do to undermine syndicates or the Empire, the more your wanted level will go up. But admittedly, this is just an assumption, so I imagine more will be revealed leading up to the game's official launch. Ultimately, Star Wars Outlaws looks like the next major Star Wars game to look forward to, but at this point it will only release in 2024. I would hope this means early 2024, but it might be later than that. Regardless, when it does come out, Star Wars Outlaws will be available on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. So that's it for this video. What did you think of our list? Are you excited for Star Wars Outlaws, or do you have your reservations about the game? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Please leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more gaming, VR, and tech content. From me and the crew here at Metasquad, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Later!